Have you ever heard of ghosts appearing on city streets? Of people who disappear without a trace after meeting a mysterious stranger? In a small town, there is a street where, every night at exactly 3:13 a.m., a mysterious man in a long black coat appears. He stands under a street lamp watching passers-by. Those who dare to talk to him vanish forever. Who is he? Why does he choose this place? And what happened to those who got too close? Today, we will unravel this chilling mystery, but I warn you, after this video, you will never walk past street lamps at night the same way again. The story of the ghost of the street lamp has been passed down in this town for over 50 years. It is said that he was first seen in the early 1970s when a young journalist named Alexei Grimov disappeared. He was investigating strange cases of people vanishing at night. His last note was found on an unfinished piece of paper. I found him. He's standing under the street lamp. His eyes. And then only smudged ink stains. Since then, more people have gone missing. Every time, witnesses reported the same thing. A man in a long coat and an old-fashioned hat standing under a dimly lit street lamp. He always kept his head down, as if waiting for someone. Those who met his gaze never returned home. The townspeople began to fear the street lamp street. Many avoided going out at night, and some even moved away from the area. But there were always those brave enough to try and uncover the mystery of the strange man. None of them succeeded, and none of them ever returned. One of the last to disappear was a 19-year-old student named Dmitry. He recorded his investigation on a voice recorder. In his final recording, his voice is heard saying, "I see him. He's standing there motionless. I'm scared, but I must get closer." Then there's a sharp noise, and the recording cuts off. The police tried multiple times to solve the mystery. They installed surveillance cameras and patrolled the street, but nothing unusual was recorded. On the footage, people could be seen walking toward the street lamp, and then vanishing into thin air, as if they had never existed. Some paranormal researchers believe that the ghost under the street lamp is the spirit of a man who died there long ago. According to one theory, he was a night watchman at a local factory, brutally murdered by hooligans. Every night, he would patrol the streets, and on that fateful night, his life ended under that very street lamp. But there's another, more terrifying theory. Some believe that this is not a ghost at all, but something far worse. A legend says that this entity feeds on the fear and life energy of those who dare to approach. It doesn't kill immediately. First, the victim feels unexplained anxiety, then they begin to see shadows, and then they disappear without a trace. One survivor, who barely escaped, said he felt someone breathing down his neck, even though no one was there. Then his hands went numb, and his mind started slipping into darkness. At the last moment, he managed to run onto a busy street, and the feeling of fear vanished. But the creepiest part of this story is that everyone who gets close to the street lamp starts noticing strange things in their lives. They hear footsteps behind them, see dark figures reflected in windows, and some even say they feel a presence watching them at night. Recently, a YouTuber decided to test the legend and went there with a camera. He stood by the street lamp and asked questions, but when reviewing the footage, he noticed a dark figure standing behind him in one of the frames. A few days later, the YouTuber disappeared without a trace. After this incident, city officials decided to remove the old street lamp. However, when workers arrived, they found that the street lamp was gone. In its place was only scorched earth. This story remains a mystery to this day. No one knows where the missing people went or who is behind these events. Maybe it's just a legend, but those who have been on that street at night are convinced it's real. If you ever find yourself on a dark street at night and see a figure under a street lamp, don't stop. Don't look in its direction. Just keep walking and pray that it doesn't choose you. So what is it? A supernatural entity, a lost soul, or just mass hysteria? We can only guess. But if you ever have to walk down Streetlamp Street at night, remember, not all legends are fiction. If you enjoyed this story and want more mysterious tales, Support this video with a like. Let's get 5,000 likes. And I'll tell you another chilling story that will make you afraid of the dark. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more mysteries and paranormal investigations.